Welcome to 2020.
Thank you.
Joking aside,
Yeah.
thank you for being here. I have had the opportunity to know you for some time now and know about your background and your experience. Tell us in your own words your background, how you've got here, and let's lead up all the way to Privaini. How about that?
All right. Well, I'll start with my American journey. Came to US in late 90s, like many of us who have landed in Silicon Valley with a suitcase and maybe a few dollars that my dad gave it to me. um, was working at Oracle back then, and a couple of years later, few like-minded friends pulled me into a startup. I was just naive, didn't even know enough about it. I said, "Why not? Let's go do it."
Sure.
Young and didn't know much about that. We landed up building the first IT governance platform in the world, and
Small feat.
a small thing, yeah. I was in the room when
Yeah.
the word IT
Yeah.
governance was written on the whiteboard um, with my colleagues over there. And of course, this was prior to Sarbanes-Oxley and Enron, and that happened.
Right.
And then it just picked up. Um, we were very fondly acquired by Mercury back then, and then eventually picked up by HP. That became too big for me. And then I said, okay, let's do something else. Got in, became part of a team which was doing a small fintech project for the largest carrier credit card company in the world. So if you swipe your Visa card anywhere in the world, that transaction flows on the software, which we did back in mid 2000s.
I swipe my Visa probably far too often, so I understand that.
Just about 7% of US GDP flows on it on any given Sunday. Not a big deal.
Yeah.
While we were doing that, we got a phone call from a tiny fruit company, which was deciding to make phones. So, and I became part of the group where we built we as a group built the first provisioning
Sure.
method for mobile devices.
All right.
And this is prior to iPhone. First 10, 15 years, we couldn't even utter these words.
Yeah.
And now that software is used in, I will say, a third of all mobile provisioning systems in the world. So IT governance to fintech to telecommunications.
Yeah.
I got introduced to a few friends. Guy, that's where I met him.
Yes.
My good friend and the CEO of the previous company who was building a national communication system. I joined the co-founders. We built the number one crisis communication system. That's where we met.
I was to say, this is where our worlds collided for the first time.
Collided, and that was acquired by BlackBerry. Ran the BU for a very long period of time, and then quite frankly, I retired. Read every book I wanted to read. Watched every Netflix program that I wanted to watch in the languages that I know and a couple of languages that I don't even understand. I still watched it. And then after a couple of years, we traveled around the world. My wife kicked me out of the house. Literally, these were her words. Sanjay, 4 blocks down the road, there is a McDonald's. Go flip burgers. If they don't give you a job, I'll find my gardener and go with him and garden in the neighbor's house. Just get out of the house. That's it.
Do something.
Go do something. So my story, and that's when I started Privaini. My story is 4 great startups, 4 great teams, and 1 failed retirement. And here I am. That's the story which I have.
Well, let's dive a little bit into now the transition to Privaini. Why privacy?
Privacy. When you think about it, it's dear to us personally. I have not spoken to an individual who doesn't like privacy or who doesn't understand that my information should be mine. If you ask anyone, let's say if I were to ask you, hey Bill, what do you think of privacy? It's like, of course it should be mine. So it's very dear to us personally, especially information about us and our family and our kids. But then every day we hear about that the companies from which we buy our products and services, our information just goes out. We do get these so-called credit monitoring after a breach has happened, kind of a Here is your 1 year's worth of credit monitoring.
Right.
But the question which I started asking myself was, why is this happening?
Right.
Why the best companies in the world are not, from which we as consumers are buying products and services, are not able to understand the privacy obligations to their consumers, to their buyers, and we are in this thing. Turns out it's a very complicated problem.
Sure.
Um, there are 140 countries as of right now where they have data privacy laws. 20 of US states have specific data privacy regulations. And if you are in specific industries like healthcare, fintech, or education, there are sectorial regulations itself. It's a very complex regulatory map that a company has to navigate, and they do try their best.
Sure.
They have legal teams who will do all kinds of things that they have to. They have products and tools, etc. But it's the landscape is shifting. The regulatory landscape, I meant,
Right.
is like it's a moving object. It just keeps moving.
Right.
And on the other hand, companies are innovating. They are collecting a lot of data. They are using the data. They're sharing information, um, and they're adding more and more products in real time. So it becomes a very complex problem in terms of people not even understanding what their obligations are, how should they protect the data. On the other hand, cybersecurity, if you were to think about it, there are plenty of products and capabilities where they have solved what I call the lock and key problem.
Sure.
Cybersecurity is about lock and key. Have you secured my information with the best lock and key possible? Privacy, on the other hand, is a use problem. You could have the best lock and key, but if you're not using the data as you are expected to and as you said you will, you are in trouble.
Sure.
Okay, so it's a different lens to look at it, and that's why privacy became dear to me, because I started looking at, like, what my information is, my kids' information. How do we protect it in the best possible way?
Absolutely.
That's was the beginning of Privaini.
That's great. And as customers have ramped up, as we started bringing on different enterprises in different sectors, give us a couple examples of the unknown unknowns, if you will, of customers that have walked in and said, "Oh, I think I have everything buttoned up," but in actuality, they haven't.
Yeah. So I speak to lots of executives in this role, and I must say, 10 out of 10, I mean 100%. They truly believe they're doing the best, and then they have what is expected of them.
Sure.
When I say of them, I mean of the company,
Right.
not them individually.
Yeah.
They actually do believe that.
Yeah.
And they have every right intention of doing it. But what they miss is that the regulatory landscape has shifted.
Sure.
They have launched new products. They have added new technologies, which are doing things that they're not supposed to. So there are gaps. It's like having cracks in your pathway, and the water comes in and just goes through the cracks.
Sure.
Okay, so that's how, and they don't understand where the leakage is happening in this analogy.
Right. Yeah.
But this is a very expensive leakage. It's going to
Right.
damage your house, and the analogy I'm giving here is will lead to fines and to regulatory action and claims, which runs into tens of millions of dollars. So the example I will give you is I spoke to a very senior executive, and their thing was, Sanjay, we got the best products. We got A, B, and C. We got it covered. I was like, sure. Would you mind if I were to share something with you? And we ran what we do, looked at their privacy posture, and actually shared the information with them. 5 minutes later into the conversation, it was like a pin drop silence. And the tone of the conversation completely changed. Instead of, oh, we got everything, to how did you find it? Where did you find it? And can you please help us fix it?
Sure.
They didn't even know that they would not have been compliant with California regulations and GDPR regulations, etc. And they actually believed they were doing the right thing.
Sure.
It's I call as unintentional privacy violation.
Right.
It was not intended to, but they're doing it. The challenge in this situation is regulators don't care. They don't care whether it is intentional or not intentional.
Right.
They're going to come after it. And litigators are not going to give you a warning shot.
Right. Right.
Okay, they're going to definitely come after
Absolutely.
the company, especially if you are above a particular size in revenue.
Right.
It's a bullseye written on it. So
Right.
that's how I see
Yeah.
it.
Those class action lawsuits aren't going to be
Exactly. Yeah.
a do over, try again.
Yeah. Yeah. No, in fact, these cracks and these holes are like a class action lawsuit lawyer's dream, because they want to find these cracks and then put a lawsuit, and then most of them will settle. But
Yeah.
these are expensive. These are expensive propositions which can be avoided
Sure.
if certain other additional steps are taken.
Perfect. So let's ask. I've got a couple more quick questions for you, and then we can move on. With the introduction of AI and a lot of the AI acts and policies coming through, both in the U.S. and abroad, how do you see that shifting the landscape
Yeah.
for privacy?
It's a great question. If we go back, let's say, because history teaches us certain things. Let's go back 10 years. Cybersecurity was kind of rising up, and there's a wave which happened on cybersecurity in terms of its maturity. We are seeing a very similar trajectory right now in privacy. Data privacy regulations are catching up, and the technologies are coming up. Solutions like Privaini are coming up as well, and then providing different, fixing different types of problems for enterprises. We are seeing a third wave emerging, which is about AI regulation. And I think it will follow the same trajectory as privacy. In fact, it's going to be moving at a faster pace,
Sure.
both in terms of pros and cons of it.
Yeah.
The regulations, like you said, in California, in Texas, in Europe, everybody has an AI Act.
Right.
Yet they're trying to figure out what that AI Act means. That's a
Right.
different problem, but they do have an AI Act,
Sure.
which will get enforced, which will come into action like privacy regulations did. So I see that wave coming in. On one hand, AI is going to help us overcome the regulatory requirement and make it faster. On the other hand, the use of AI is going to expose us to different risks itself.
That's a
So
good
it's-
perspective. I like that. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's a double-edged sword. We got
Right.
to we got to balance on both sides.
Right.
Because the data which is being collected right now, let's say it is unintentional privacy violation, and you ended up using that in your AI use. Okay. Now you have a wrongful collection and a wrongful use of data,
Right.
which has seeped into your AI models, into AI use. It could have a serious impact on not only just the company operates, but
Sure.
I will say even the valuation of the company and the market caps of the
Absolutely. Makes sense. One final question. Looking forward in the next couple of years, say 3-5 years with Privaini, where do you want the company to head?
We will, like I said, I want to make sure that we help our clients, our customers, do the right thing. I truly believe we are providing methods where enterprises can understand their privacy risk and fix it. I will see that as we are growing, we will be like the de facto standard of privacy posture, where you can look at Privacy and say, how is this company doing in terms of its privacy behavior?
Sure.
Should I do business with them or not? So think of it like a FICO score.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
the
I like that.
closest
Okay.
analogy
Yeah.
I can give
Okay.
you. We will probably become the FICO score equivalent of privacy for an enterprise, where when a B2B transaction happens, people will run the privacy report
Sure.
against us and say, is it,
I like it.
should we do business or not?
All
And
right.
if not, then what are the risks I'm accepting?
Privacy
Right, so-
risk score.
Exactly.
Like that.
Just like a privacy risk score. And I will even say privacy and AI risk,
Yes.
like a pair,
Right.
yes,
I like that.
PAIR pair.
Oh, you heard it first
it's a
here.
privacy and AI risk, which will be a dominant factor in about a couple of years.
All right. Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time.
I am glad. I'm happy to be here.